All right, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome you to another episode of the Gafford and Brown Show. I'm Lamar Gafford.
I'm Robert Brown.
And once again, we have ourselves a great show today. Part 3 of our NFL series is going to happen. AFC South and the NFC North. We're also going to talk about what else is going on in the sports world today. A little bit of NFL, a little bit of NBA, maybe a lot, somewhere we can find a happy medium as well. But let's start things off here with our fifth division that we're going to actually cover right now, and that's the AFC South. Last season, the Houston Texans won it for the second straight year. They were 12-4, but you also had the resurgence of the Indianapolis Colts, 11-5, and then you also had the Titans and the Jaguars trailing all the way behind. So I guess the first question here this year, we're going to start off with the Texans. Over the past couple of years, they got themselves a playoff win in the first round against the Bengals, but faltered against the AFC runner-up. So, how high expectations do you have them for this season, and how high do you think they should be?
AFC title game. They have too much talent. They have, they run away. Well, they almost run away with the division. It's time for them to step up and finally live to their potential. They've been fortunate to have the Bengals 2 years in a row, and we've seen them kind of fall apart in the second round. I think it's time for them now to just finally be one of those elite teams. We know they're capable of. They have the defense and J.J. Watt and Brian Cushing. They've got the offense with Andre Johnson, Arian Foster, and Tate at running back. They just have to finally cement themselves as an elite NFL team.
Yeah, and I have that same expectation for them, honestly, because they got to make it at least to that, and they got to make it to that point. And I think what also would help them out is, getting themselves a home first round bye in the home playoff game, and at least in the second round. They looked like they were almost getting ready to that point last year, starting off 11-1, and then kind of faltered with three losses over the last 4 games. This year they can't do that. They really can't do that. They have the talent to do that, and it's kind of like Atlanta, but it's not like Atlanta for the most part.
Yeah, I think with Atlanta the stakes are higher because we've seen them do so well in the regular season, then fall apart in the off season, and they got their first playoff win, I think, this past season during the Matt Ryan era.
Mm-hmm.
So the stakes aren't as high yet, because pretty much for Atlanta, it's Super Bowl or bust.
Right.
I think Houston can get away with just making the AFC title game and not necessarily going to the Super Bowl. The stakes are high though, especially for Matt Schaub, because he's not necessarily the savior a lot of people thought he would be. So now people are looking at him like, to make a break, we got to get this win, or you might be expendable.
Yeah, and sadly that is the point, because I think I can remember when the Texans were, when they were trying to get to that playoff series. This guy was a very good, decent quarterback, gave you some stats. People loved him, I guess, on the fantasy leagues and all that stuff. But in reality, you got to look at everybody. You got to look at the pieces that this team has. Arian Foster, who is pretty much 1,000-yard, 1,500-yard running back. On pretty much in any given season. Andre Johnson, one of the best receivers that we have out there in the game. And they have other weapons out there too. And it's kind of to the point here, is he holding them back or is he not holding them back? That's going to be the question. And I think for right now, this season is going to tell a whole lot about how good is he going to be. And yeah, that's just pretty much it right there.
Right.
Now, defensively, of course, J.J. Watt. This guy is pretty much a beast. And it's amazing that he's came out over the last couple of years. And, in his first 2 years in the league, and has been having a very good, start to his career, almost kind of like Von Miller in a way too.
Right.
So, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what's going to happen with the Texans. But I think they're going to make it they're going to at least win the division once again. So that's going to be pretty much a foregone conclusion on that one. Next up, though, the Colts, 11-5, kind of shocked everybody last season that thought, well, they might have this year as a write-off year, but I mean, the Chuck Strong thing, Chuck Pagano, his, having the cancer and everything like that, and actually rallying around the team and doing very well. Do you think that they have a chance at this division?
Possibly. Possibly. I mean, no one expected them to make playoffs last year. And luck is only going to get better. So I think they have a shot. I just don't see it happening, but I do see them getting another wild card spot this year. I have to see what the defense looks like.
Right.
And their running game needs to develop along too, but I think they have a shot at going to the wild card game.
Right. And it's going to be the same. I think pretty much we can probably pencil them in as maybe that 5th seed, because I don't think they're going to get that 6th. I think they're a little bit better than the 6th, so they're going to get the 5th. And this team could be one of those teams that can actually get themselves a playoff win this year. I think since they now know how does it feel to be in the playoff with such a young team, I think all those players are going to be even hungrier to do it again this year. And I mean, right now you got Andrew Luck, you got yourself a pretty good backup now with Matt Hasselbeck. Then you also got yourself some decent, some pretty good running backs, including Ahmad Bradshaw, who goes to the team. And then along with Reggie Wayne and T.Y. Hilton, you got, Darius Haywood-Bay. You got him from Oakland. So, and then I think you also got the offensive coordinator that Pep Hamilton, that I think he was with Stanford. So at least that's going to be a little bit more familiarity for Andrew Luck, and that's going to help him out. Just pretty much help him out a little bit, you think?
Right. I think so. I'm interested really to see how Reggie Wayne continues to grow with Andrew Luck, and I also want to see Andrew Luck's decision making improve, because we saw a lot of picks.
Right.
But however, he made up for a lot of them by doing veteran-esque plays, veteran game-winning drives. So I'm expecting to see great things from him this season.
Likewise, and I mean, we could just only remember the last quarterback that was with the Colts. He did not. He kind of had a shaky first season.
Yeah.
Threw a lot of picks.
Right.
But in that second season, I mean, 10 wins more than what they did last season, and Peyton Manning's a very good quarterback, great quarterback at that. So, we're not saying it's kind of unfair to compare Andrew Luck to Peyton Manning, but I mean, you could just only think year 2, he's going to learn a little bit more, and he's going to get better with time. So, I mean, the sky's pretty much the limit on that one. Now, next up, talk about the Tennessee Titans. Now, they were 6-10 last season. It was a little bit of a kind of a tough year, kind of a ho-hum year basically for them. And if it wasn't really for the Jaguars, I mean, the Titans probably would have been last place in this division. I guess the question for this one is Jake Locker really the answer to the Titans' quarterback schemes? And if he's not, could you see them possibly getting a quarterback in the draft next year?
Man, the Jake Locker experiment so far has been an unfortunate disaster. A lot of people thought he was going to get thrown to the Wolves his rookie year and be able to, see if he could hang or not. That kind of happened, kind of didn't happen. Hasselbeck was supposed to be the guy that was the mentor, the sensei, if you will. But through a lot of injuries and, setbacks, we haven't seen Jake Locker at his full potential. And this is pretty much his make or break season. Oddly enough, it's only his third season though.
Yep.
So it's unfortunate for both parties. Hopefully he can stay healthy and show the team he's actually, worthy of that first round pick. But who knows? I like the guy. I liked him in Washington. Thought he was a great athlete, a great all-around guy, a great team leader. But we haven't seen much of him because the injuries have been piling up. But I think if he stays healthy, he'll do fine. I see the Titans being a 7-9 team, maybe 8-8. Not making the playoffs, but definitely being competitive, especially if Chris Johnson can have another successful season like he did 2 years ago. So we'll see. I think they can be competitive. What do you think? Do you think the Locker era is about to end, or you think we finally get to see glimpses of it?
Whew. There could be chances for glimpses. I would just hope that one thing is at least the offense has to get a little bit going too. And with that one, Chris Johnson really has to have a better start than he's had over the past couple of years, because over the past years he has not really had the best starts. Now I think he bounced back last year. Bounced back considerably last year, did pretty well, and was able to get back to the old CJ2K to live up to at least the moniker of him. So if he can get things going, this at least takes some pressure off the passing game. The real question is though, is Jake Locker's receivers going to help him out too? I mean, you got Kenny Britt, who when he's on the field is a pretty good receiver, but the problem is whenever he gets into so many off the field issues that it kind of hurts the team. And you also got Nate Robinson is pretty much your number 2, and then you also got Kendall Wright from Baylor is helping you out as well. So part of that, maybe Locker does really need to develop his guys a little bit more, but I would also think that if he had some better receivers, that probably would help a little bit too. Would you say?
Yeah, I can't even tell you a Tennessee Titan. Kenny Britt, is he still?
Yeah, he's still there.
Yeah, that's the only receiver I know of. Kenny Britt and a bunch of other guys, but we'll see. Hopefully it works out, but he just has to stay healthy.
Right.
It's unfortunate because you really can't put getting injured on a guy. But God, it's interrupting with so much of his success.
Exactly. And I mean, and I hate to really say it, and I hate to really point fun at the Titans here, but outside of a few players, I kind of don't know any of the players on this team, really. So I guess they're a team of the no names or something. They're quite the mystery. I think they'll probably be around like that 6-10 season they had last year. Would you say?
Something like that. I think they'll be solid as far as being competitive. Going to the playoffs, no, but I think they'll be okay. As far as trying to get back on the right, footsteps of, the days when they had Jeff Fisher.
Right. So now, last but not least, definitely not least, Jacksonville Jaguars. 2-14 last season.
Only go up. You can only go up. So hopefully things look. I watched the preseason game. I watched them play the Jets preseason. Did they look good enough for me to put them on wild card chase? No, but they look competitive. Blaine Gabbert, he still has a job. They're still looking for him to develop. Mm-hmm. This is his make or break year, really. He looks solid. They have Maurice Jones-Drew back. You can only go up, man. Justin Blackmon, I think I give him 6 wins. I give him 6 wins.
6?
I give him 6.
6?
Yeah, 6 wins. You can only go up. I think they make some improvements. I think they can be competitive. I mean, last year they hung with Green Bay. I think they had a pretty competitive game with Green Bay. I think they can be competitive. I mean, They have to with those uniforms. I mean, gosh, those are the ugliest uniforms in the league.
Oh man, hey, you read my mind on this one because I was about to say that these uniforms kind of look like UFL type uniforms, and I have said that before. Been on record of saying that. I really appreciate you for having the guts to basically go out there and say it's 6 wins for the Jaguars. I kind of don't see it happening.
Yeah.
I kind of don't see it happening. I think
Step out on that ledge.
I think that this is pretty much a 2 to 4 win team, and I think they're pretty much going to be once again in the running for that number 1 draft pick, and it's going to help them a whole lot more than I think than Blaine Gabbert. Gabbert to me is not that good, really. I think if you have like the lower tier quarterbacks, the starting quarterbacks, I would probably put him somewhere around the 30, 30, 31, 32 range. Yeah, he's that bad. But at least there's hope that if they can find some type of way, probably get into the top 5 draft picks here. I mean, you got Teddy Bridgewater, you got Manziel, you got Johnny Manziel, and you got Taj Boyd. So I think there's help, and there's a glimmer of hope right now. But for right now, it's just they got to try to make do with with Blaine Gabbert, and he has to show this is his last chance, I think, and he has to show that he's capable of being at least a serviceable quarterback right here. I mean, like you said, they can only go up basically. Right?
They have to. I think they go up. 6 wins seems like a lot, but who knows? Who knows? I hope it happens. You want to see them do well because this was a franchise that earlier in their existence did so well. I mean, this was a team that was in the AFC title game, I think, 2 years.
Yes.
Mark Brunell, Fred Taylor, Jimmy Smith,
Mm-hmm.
Tom Coughlin is their coach. This was a franchise. Don't quote me on this. I might be wrong, but as far as expansion teams, they had to have the most success out of any that I can think of.
I would say so too, and I mean quite some history. I mean, I think the Panthers they made it.
Yeah, the Panthers had a great run.
They made it to that second pick, but they made it to that I think in the same year, but they really didn't sustain that success. The Jaguars though they were pretty good for a very good point in time, and even the Brian Leftwich years, and David Garrard years, where they were a scary team. Like this probably wasn't a team that was not going to win the division because of Peyton Manning and all of them, but they would make it to the playoffs, and they would just really give everybody their all, and teams really did not want to play against them. So I'm longing for those years for them to come back, and I think with the new owner that they have, Saeed Khan, he's going to be that type of guy that's going to help them try to come back. I think they're very committed in trying to stay in Jacksonville. So I guess that's one thing, and not having them go to LA. So that's another thing right there too. So I guess it's just all going to be about the fans and see what the product that they put out there on the field as well. So basically, the order of the finishes of this season, give me the order and give me records.
Okay, Houston, 11 and 5. Colts 10-6. I'm gonna go with the Titans 8-8 and the Jaguars 6-10.
Texans, I think they're gonna wind up probably 10-12-4, and I think they're going to probably have a top 2 seed, second seed. Colts, I can see 10-6 happening. I think a lot of people are going to have tape on them and see how well they've done in the past and how well they've done back then. Titans 5-11, 6-10. Jaguars 2-14, 3-13, 4-12, and probably the first pick if they can't get anything going. So I think I'm gonna be safe to really go ahead and say that. So right now we're gonna go ahead and pretty much go on to the NFC North as well, and I think as we have said before on the show, and I really wish that Clarence was here to talk about this too, we have said that the North is going to be a little bit of a dogfight here. The Packers last season were 11-5. The Vikings were 10-6. The Bears were 10-6, but they missed the playoffs thanks to the Vikings and thanks to Adrian Peterson. And the Detroit Lions took a step back after making it to the playoffs in 2011 with a 4-12 season. Well, I guess the first thing we really want to say here is the Green Bay Packers. Now, the Packers, they're looks like their wide receivers have been basically out here. They don't have Greg Jennings anymore. But at least Aaron Rodgers got himself the big-time contract. So, how is Rodgers going to do with his new receivers, you think?
I think he's going to do fairly well. Rodgers is a guy like Drew Brees. I mean, he can make anything work as far as receivers goes. So I don't think the receivers are the problem. What they need, though, is a running game to develop. And we've seen them draft, Eddie Lacy, things like that. So they're making the right steps to try to get that going. But I don't know. I think they're going to do well, though. I think they're going to do well because, they just have a solid team in place. They got the right foundation. I think they're going to do well. I see them going 11-5 again, probably, and winning the division just because, Aaron Rodgers in the offense is so elite. But I like their chances. What about you?
Yeah, I can't go against their chances right there. I think they're pretty much the best team in this division. I would have them above the Vikings for sure. And I would have them above the Bears for sure, and really over the Lions for sure too. I think with the running game, we're going to see how well Eddie Lacy is going to be, and we're also going to see how well any of these other guys that they have are going to be. James Starks, they still have him. I think he had himself a very good run in 2010? Mm-hmm. Yeah, the 2010 playoffs. He hasn't really quite lived up to that over the past couple of seasons, but we're going to see how well does he do with another back out there. But you're right, the receivers, I don't think they're going to be too much of a problem. Jordy Nelson, Randall Cobb, it's pretty much James Jones. It's pretty much we're plugging one guy, we're plugging these three guys here for another person right there. I think also on the defensive side of the ball, they're still going to be very good too. Raji's still there, and you also still got Clay Matthews. So they're going to be straight there.
Right. And, the offense had a lot of trouble stopping people, in the past, but I think they're going to do fine, though.
Right. So I think they're still pretty much my best team until proven otherwise, because we're gonna get to the other teams here, but the Vikings, they still got their quarterback situation. The Bears, I don't know how good their defense is going to be, and the Lions, well, I don't know how good their defense is going to be. So, it's just so many question marks. I'm just going to go with what you know here, and pretty much say the Packers on this one.
Me too.
Now, number 2 here, the Vikings. Last season they were 10-6. Adrian Peterson almost had the rushing record, just fell 9 yards short. Eric Dickerson is probably still cheesing in his Texas home and laughing and all that stuff. But really, Adrian Peterson has pretty much put his standards up high. He says that he feels like he could get 2,500 yards, honestly. You think he could probably get that or what?
Oh, of course. I think he's capable of it. If anybody's capable of it, it's definitely the best running back in all of football, Adrian Peterson. Now, how the team's going to fare, I still don't know. I think Ponder's legit. A lot of people take issue with him. A lot of people don't think he should have been drafted first round. Blah blah blah. But I think Ponder's capable of doing something, decent in Minnesota. I mean, the guy's this will be his third season.
Right.
He didn't have the elite receiving core necessarily that Brett Favre have, and Sidney Rice and a couple other guys. I think he's going to do well. He has Greg Jennings as a number one now. I think he's going to do okay. We just have to give him time to find out and see. But I like him. I like his chances. And if he can at least, you know what I'm saying, just improve and limit the turnovers and manage the game, they're going to do well. They can get a wild card again. Now, can they win a division? I don't think so. But they surely can do well.
Yeah, agreed. And you gotta say at least having the number one receiver right now is going to help him out so much. It gives him a consistent target, and already it looks like that Packers-Vikings rivalry. Those two games are going to be highly contested right now because of the trash talk and the war of words that are going about against each other. Try to say that 3 times fast. But I think that they're going to be all. I think they're going to be all right, to be honest with you. Greg Jennings, bona fide number one receiver. Jerome Simpson, it's a pretty decent number two, pretty serviceable number two. And you got yourself a good tight end in Kyle Rudolph. Adrian Peterson is going to be pretty much the workhorse of this team. But at least you could just basically say this about Christian Ponder. He's not Joe Webb.
Joe Webb had to be one of the worst quarterback performances I think I've seen in my life. That was pretty bad. I was pretty. Yeah. That's. I don't think we should talk about it.
Me neither though. But at least though, and if you could just look at it on here too, the defensive side of the ball. They still got Jared Allen.
Right.
They still have Kevin Williams, who was hurt in the preseason game, so we're still going to see how well is he going to be here. The Vikings do have themselves some playmakers on defense, and that's going to help out a whole lot too. So, running defense, pretty much the old school way of how to build a team and how to build a team and how to build a team around. So I think they're going to be okay. And I think that they'll be in contention for a playoff spot at least.
Right. Yeah, I agree as well. They're definitely going to be in the running. The NFC is so stacked, I'm not going to necessarily guarantee them a playoff spot, but I definitely see them competing for a wild card.
Right. Next up is the Chicago Bears. And I think they're going to have the biggest question mark of all because they have now so many people that have been gone. Gone is Brian Urlacher, and also gone is Lovie Smith after seemed like 10,000 years. But now you got a guy who's been an NFL assistant before and who was actually in the Canadian Football League, Mark Trestman, in his first season, and I think he's been a little bit of more of an offensive guru type. But I guess the question is now, how could you see the Bears? How could you see the Bears really performing?
It's tricky. To me, at the end of the day, it all goes on Jay Cutler. It all depends on how well he does as a quarterback and the mistakes he makes and the things that he does. I think he has to finally just step up and just limit the turnovers and be the leader that he has to be.
Right. This is pretty much that time here. for him. Cut the mistakes down. Your team does very well. Don't keep the mistakes at a high level. Your team doesn't do too well. I mean, it's pretty much simple math, and I hate to go as simple as that, but it's pretty much that simple. I mean, it's pretty much that simple. Matt Forte is still there. You still have Brandon Marshall, and you still have some decent pieces, some tall receivers that can at least help out Jay Cutler somewhat here. I think another part is going to be we're going to see how this defense is going to be without their heart and soul of Brian Urlacher. I mean, this was a guy that was he kept that Bear legacy of linebackers of Butkus and Singletary and all those other guys out there. He kept that intact, and now Lance Briggs is still there, but we're going to see if he's going to be capable of leading the team here. You still got Lance Briggs, you still got Julius Peppers, so we're going to see a lot here.
Right, and I think they're going to do well. I mean, this is a team that went 10-6 and didn't make the playoffs. That's just crazy. 10-6 in the AFC would have got them at least a division.
Yeah.
It's just crazy.
Yeah, it would have. And if they would have been in the East, I mean, they would have been at least tied with the Skins. So I mean, hey, at least it's tough. It's tough. But once again, they're probably going to fall a little bit. They're going to be in the run, and I think they're going to fall a little bit of the factor to the tough NFC because like you said, the stack. But they're going to be in the running, I feel like, too. Last but not least, the Detroit Lions. The Lions now, they're trying to basically get themselves ready and I guess get their team all through. They also got Reggie Bush on the squad now to help out with the explosiveness a little bit. And now they also got that's pretty much it for them. And of course, they got that defense of Fairley and the Dominican Sue. I guess, do you see them bouncing back from the 4-12 season to the last place finish or what?
Yeah, I think they bounce back. But the questions all go with their defense. That's the only thing I think that's holding them back. I think they can do well. I think they have a chance to compete, but the defense is holding back in my eyes.
Right. I mean, the defensive backs, they really have had a problem. They're trying to fill out the gaps. I mean, not through the draft, but trying to get some retread guys. I mean, I didn't know they actually got Rasheem Mathis. I mean, I didn't know. It seemed like he had been gone a couple of years after being in Jacksonville, and I think that's going to be interesting to see. But at least you got the front four. The front four is pretty nice. The real question is, though, too, can they get a running game going? And it's kind of unfortunate of what happened to Javid Best. I mean, never could quite get over the concussion symptoms that he had. And, I mean, just only wish the best for him. I guess here, I mean, Joker Bell, Reggie Bush, Michael LaSure. I mean, none of these guys are really every down running backs and all that. So I guess it's just going to be, once again, a passing game here. And can they get that running game?
Right.
So, I mean, at least Reggie Bush has had has had at least 1,000-yard rushing game, a rushing season. Surprisingly enough, but I mean, I think they're still going to throw it, air it out. I mean, you still got Matthew Stafford, and it's crazy. We hadn't talked about Calvin Johnson until just now. So,
right.
You still got that, and you still got, you're pretty much going to have three receivers out there. So, I guess they're going to be interesting bunch to see too. So, I guess last but not least here, well, how do you see the division shaping up?
Green Bay to repeat, Minnesota following, Chicago, Detroit. I put Minnesota over Detroit simply because of the running game and the defense. They can control games better.
Mhm.
With Chicago, you have Jay Cutler making so many passes that there's a possibility of turnovers and whatnot. So I'm going to have Minnesota at number 2, Chicago number 3, and Detroit at the bottom just because their defense has not yet arrived. And I got Green Bay winning it. As far as wild card is concerned, Minnesota can definitely make a position, but you definitely got to see how the rest of the
Right.
divisions pick out for you. You think about wild cards and stuff. So I think Minnesota will have the best chance come out of the division as well as Green Bay.
Right. I think Green Bay's number 1. Green Bay's going to finish in first place. I got this. I think so, and I think they're going to be about 11-5 or 12-4, something like that. And probably will be just shy of a first round bye. Minnesota at 2, I feel like. AD, still got AD there. Like you said, the running game, the defense, that's going to help out. I think the shocker for me is going to be, I think Detroit's going to be 3. I think they'll probably finish around 8-8 or 7-9 though. And Chicago's probably going to be around that 7-9 range too. And I think I got them as last place in this division here. Sadly, I think it's just so many so many variables that they have that I don't know what's going to happen here for them. So I think that's how that division is pretty much going to shape up. So I guess on our next show we're actually going to go ahead and we're pretty much going to talk about the 2 divisions that we have rooted interest in: the AFC West with Rob's Broncos and the NFC East with my Cowboys.
Oh yeah.
Check and see if we actually have our teams at number 1, and just check and see. I guess pretty much we'll talk about that next week. But for right now, we're going to go ahead and take ourselves a 30-second break, and when we come back on the air, pretty much going to talk about, well, I guess the big topic, the big sports topic that everybody's talking about, Lamar Odom. It's crazy what's going on right now with Lamar Odom, and I just can only hope that he gets help. So we're going to go ahead and take ourselves a break. This is the Gafford and Brown Show. All right, we're back on the show right now. Very good NFL segment that we had. Once again, if you'd like to chime in onto the show here, you can drop a comment on the comment box. Give us a call at 318-572-0078, or you can also tweet us at PrimeTime2832 Uptown Bobby, and we'll get your thoughts on this show. So I guess the next topic that we're pretty much going to talk about is, and we're going to shift it to the NBA, Lamar Odom. And it's just been a crazy turn of events here that's gone on, and I hate to speculate. I really hate to speculate. But let's just go ahead and just give everybody the facts here. It has been rumored that he pretty much has had a drug problem. Looks like cocaine has probably been it actually over the past couple of years, and like I say, I really hate to speculate, and I just only hope that he can just get better and all that too.
Yeah, I still don't know the specifics, of course, but I've heard about it, and it's very unfortunate. I heard, now rumor has it that it was crack. The substance he's using. Um, it's just unfortunate because Lamar Odom's a talented player, one of the few players that we've seen in the league for the last, I'm gonna say, 10 years that's able to play position 1 through 5. I mean, the guy's a rare talent, and we've seen how valuable he was to the Lakers during their title run, and just a guy that's very, very talented and very, useful. Is he a Hall of Famer? No, but is he a guy that definitely will be remembered? During those Laker runs, yes. A guy with a lot of upside. They did a lot in his career. And, it's just unfortunate to see. It's very sad, and I hope that he can get help. I hope that he's able to get the treatment that he can, get better. Because it's very unfortunate that a guy that talented go through something like that. So just hope he gets clean and hope he's able to make a return to the NBA.
Yeah, and it absolutely is. And I can just remember when I first heard about that, and it kind of reminds me of when he got traded to the Mavs. And a lot of people were hoping that he was going to be, just as valuable with the Mavs as he was with the Lakers. And unfortunately, it didn't turn out like that. And a lot of people, with the frustration, and rightfully so, we didn't know what was going on and all that. I mean, him, getting mad at Cuban looked like and also Cuban pretty much sending him home during the last little bit of that season. A lot of people really got mad at Lamar Odom, and I think myself was included about that because I really wanted him to do more.
Right, you felt like he quit.
Right, and now with the story and with the news that's basically come out right now, I mean, it just made me feel. It makes me feel for him, and it just makes me feel like that. I feel bad for really heckling him during that point in time, and it's just once again, you never know what a person's going through. You never know, and I mean, like I said, we hate to really speculate, and it's just, I mean, maybe he got depressed somehow. I mean, I don't know what happened, or anything else like that. I would just like I said, just continue to hope that he gets clean. I mean, that's the most important thing that's right there right now. I mean, the guy was a valuable player when he was with the Lakers, like you said. Sixth man of the year a couple of times, and I really think that he really wanted to stay with the Lakers so bad. I mean, but it just felt like that after that Chris Paul proposal.
And there were talks of a return, right?
Right, there were talks of a return, and I think they were trying to get him back, and yet nobody has gotten him yet. And I mean, I guess maybe the Lakers were waiting for the numbers to go down or something like that. But I mean, first of all, I just think that basketball is pretty much going to be the furthest part of his mind right now. I just think that what he should do, get clean right now, and hopefully, maybe he can go back into the league. Because I mean, this guy's a very talented individual.
Right.
So I mean, he could pretty much do anything, and I mean, he's a good player. So I think that pretty much says it to that as well. And let's see, we're going to go ahead and talk about some more things that are going on in sports right now. And pretty much it looks like right now, wow, Broncos fans are irked by Joe Flacco banners in downtown Denver. I don't know why they would do that, but whatever.
Right.
But I guess there's another good question here too, and I don't know if have you seen the Rex Ryan rant that he had over the weekend?
No.
Well, I think it was something where Rex had actually had Geno Smith start during the preseason game against the
Giants.
Yeah.
I've heard rumblings of it.
Yeah, and Mark Sanchez came in the third quarter, in the fourth quarter, and next thing you know, he gets hurt. Now, I guess pretty much if you look at it from hindsight here, would you agree with Rex Ryan's decision, and would you also agree with pretty much the way he snapped on the New
Um,
York media?
it's crazy. I think that you know Sanchez is in a weird place. He's in a place right now where he has to show improve this year. But at the same time, they also have to find out what Gino has in store too, because he's the future, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
So you feel for both situations. However, Sanchez honestly should just take whatever he is thrown at him because right now the guy's playing for his career. He has this bad season, and he's pretty much gonna be on clipboard duty.
Right. And you could just only imagine right now that New York media is unforgiving.
Right.
Like, I mean, pretty much Philadelphia fans are unforgiving, New York media is unforgiving. And I think we have said this on the show. We pretty much continue the ticker basically of when Gino is going to start. Gino hasn't really ran away with this competition.
No, I think Sanchez, if healthy, if he can come back, I think he's gonna start. If not, Gino gets it by default. But yeah, I don't think he's ready. I think he's gonna have a long season because I think in that game he threw how many picks?
Let's see. Who, Gino?
Yeah, I think
Um,
he threw some picks.
Let me take a look here. I know it's got to be a pretty decent amount because I can just remember they both really have had their struggles so far this season. Excuse me. They both have really had their struggles so far this off season, and it's kind of like you said. They both have really ran away with this job, so it's gonna be an interesting thing to see. And I think, like you said, it's Sanchez is to lose, but we're going to see also when does Sanchez get the chance, if Sanchez can keep this job for the season or what. And I mean, because this is basically Geno Smith was pretty much a guy that we thought it was going to be he was going to be a top quarterback taken in the draft, and sadly he dropped all the way down to the second round, right into the Jets' lap. So it's basically what we're going to see about that, and that's pretty much it. And forgive me for the sound right here. I can't really do anything about that. But let's see. Geno Smith had 3 picks in that game.
Right.
So yeah, you gotta kind of cut those down, but I can understand you're a rookie, so it goes with the territory. But they you gotta cut that down. So yeah. Let's see what else is going on as well too in the NFL, and basically, how could I forget the start of college football?
Oh yeah.
The start of college football that's going to happen this week, and we got ourselves some very big games here. I guess we're basically just going to go ahead and talk about here who's the biggest games here this season. Well, the biggest games here in this first week, and we're going to also give you who's going to win those games. And looking at it right now, it looks like the first game this season is going to be South Carolina against North Carolina. That's going to happen at 5 p.m. Eastern. It's going to happen at 5 p.m. I guess now, pretty much we're going to get the chance to see Jadeveon Clowney and see how he's going to be here. Who you got in this game?
Oh man, that's almost a toss up. I don't know. I'm gonna let you go first.
South Carolina.
South Carolina. Man, the thing about South Carolina is they've been so close to being that team. I remember, what was it, 2 years ago, almost 3 years ago, they were in the SEC title game against Auburn.
Yeah.
And so, man, I don't know. I'm gonna go with South Carolina, just off the strength that they have to finally take that shot, that step up. They're one of the elite teams in the East, but every year they seem they fall apart.
Right. And, they're going to have some roadblocks here and there, too. I mean, I think the Georgia game is going to come it's going to come pretty soon. They got Florida. Florida's going to be tough against them as well. So, but I got South Carolina for now, and let's just hide the kids from Jadeveon Clowney, please.
Right.
Because that guy is still looking for his helmet from Michigan.
Yes.
Another game that's happening on Thursday, USC is traveling to Hawaii.
Yeah, that's pretty much going to be a rout.
Yeah, USC all day. Let's go to some games here that are pretty much some ranked matchups here. And this Saturday game that's going to be in Arlington, Texas for the Cowboys Classic, LSU with TCU.
It's going to be a good one. I think LSU is going to win, but at the same time, I wouldn't be shocked if an upset happened.
Me neither. TCU, at least the game is right there in Fort Worth. So, you think that a lot of TCU fans are going to be there as well. I think it's going to be LSU, though, and it's going to be a close game, though. And it just really depends on their quarterback situation. Does Mettenberger do pretty well or what? So I guess that's going to be the main thing. So Alabama against Virginia Tech in the Chick-fil-A Classic. That's going to be in Atlanta.
Good.
Yeah. I can't go against Bama on this one. Sorry. Huge matchup on ABC that's going to happen at 7 p.m. Eastern. Georgia traveling to Clemson.
That's going to be a good one because we saw Clemson last year get their upset against LSU in that bowl game. So we're going to see how they do against Georgia. I think I'm going to pick Georgia, though.
I'll go with Clemson just to be a little bit different.
Ooh.
I'll go
Shake
with
it up.
This will be a little bit different on this one. It's just a shame that one of these teams has to lose, but when in doubt, if you're feeling tough, home team. Got to go with the home team. But we're going to see Taj Boyd against Aaron Murray, and I think both of these quarterbacks, both of these signal callers are going to be they're going to give us a show. They're going to give us a show. 12 noon 12 noon our time. Johnny Manziel is still eligible at this time. Texas A&M plays against Rice.
Texas A&M.
Yeah, A&M.
And at this time, like I said, he's still eligible, so he's going to try to put up some big numbers, continue that push towards the league.
Right. He needs to just come out to money to blow. That's just I continue to say that. He needs to just do that. Please do it. Please do it. Please do it. And also turn up Johnny Manziel. Another neutral site game. I think this is a new classic that's going to happen in Houston. Mississippi State against Oklahoma State.
Oh man, I'm going to go with Mississippi State. Just off the strength of how they play so hard now, they're usually in games.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of hard for them to close the deal. But I'm gonna go with
OK State. I think this is a team that's probably going to win the Big 12 this year. Kind of win the Big 12 here because with Oklahoma having starting a freshman at quarterback and with Texas still trying to get back. So I think OK State is going to go out there and win the Big 12, and they're going to at least win this game. But it's going to be a hard-fought one because Mississippi State does at least Dan Mullen is not a bad player, so it's not a bad coach. It's just a shame that he's pretty much in one of the toughest divisions of all of football. So I'll go with not Mississippi State, Oklahoma State in this one. Big game on Fox Sports 1. Boise State is going to Seattle to take on Washington.
Boise.
Washington. Washington. I like Boise. I really like Boise. This is a really tough pick for me, but Washington. I think the fans are going to come out a little bit more for their for this game with the refurbished Husky Stadium. I think that's going to be just enough right there, just to help out. Let's see, other big time games that are also going to be on the air. Well, I guess why don't we just go ahead and pick this game? ULM against Oklahoma.
Oklahoma, but ULM definitely keep it competitive.
Yeah, I hate to do this. I'm not gonna pick ULM in this game, but I do hope that this is gonna be a close game. 7 points, so like that. And if it is a 7 point game, trust me, Todd Berry is going to have the Warhawks in the game. But until further notice, Oklahoma is going to win this game.
Yeah.
I mean, I hate to say it, but if ULM, if they do have themselves in a close game, trust me, I would be on Twitter and I would be basically screaming about this game, cheering for my boys. Florida State against Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's welcoming to the ACC. This game's a home game for Pittsburgh.
You said Florida versus Pitt?
Florida State.
Florida State? I'm going Florida State.
Yeah, Florida State in this game, so. And looks like that might do it for the rest of the big time games here. Oh well, how about Northwestern against Missouri State?
Missouri State.
Yeah, Missouri State. But I think that with at least Jay Thomas being the new coach for Northwestern, I think there's a buzz around the community right now, and I think I don't know still about the excited counter that we've seen the fans and we've seen players and stuff talking about, but they're very enthralled into this team right now, and I think they're going to be good. I think they're going to be pretty much all right here. Just can't wait to see them play against Southern. So
right, that's definitely a big game for the community and everyone. It's like gonna be second homecoming.
Mm-hmm. And I could just only imagine. I wish I could clone myself and just be at two places at one time, but unfortunately we can't do that with with the ULM Grambling game at the same time. But unfortunately can't do that. So, but I think this is my first time. I mean, this is the first time I get the chance to see Southern play, so that's gonna be something too.
Right.
And like I said, I think that's pretty much going to be it for most of these other games here. And scanning through, seeing what else is happening on the sports world today. Let's see here. Matt Harvey is basically going to go under is suffering here. He might need Tommy John surgery. This is a guy with the Mets who started the All-Star game. One of the bright young pitchers in the game. But Tommy John surgery, that's pretty much something that scares a lot of people, old and young and old too.
Right.
So I just hope for speedy recovery for him. But I guess it's just gonna be one of those things. How can we see? How can some of these players get better and all that stuff too? I guess it's just probably working hard and everything. I also see another article right here. Do the Patriots owe Aaron Hernandez $82,000 in workout bonuses? Well, how is he going to get the money?
Yeah, I can't spend it when you're locked up.
So, and looks like the Bills got themselves a new quarterback, as we had talked about before the show. E.J. Manuel. He looks like he's going to miss the first game. Now Kevin Cobb has suffered a concussion in the playoff game. Well, not the playoff game, preseason game and pretty much it's career threatening here. So it looks like Jeff Toole, the guy is a third string guy from Washington State, was 4-22, and an undrafted rookie. He's going to start his first game. He's going to start his first NFL game against the New England Patriots. That's going to be fun.
That's a tall order.
That really is. I think we both had laughed about this, that if he happens to beat the Patriots, they should make a 30 out.
He definitely would. Yeah, Kevin Kyle would definitely not be with the job soon if that were to happen. Because he'll obviously be the number 2 behind EJ, because that's crazy.
Right. I mean, it's just going to be very tough here, and to see what's going to happen as well. And, man, it's just going to be tough here. And well, I guess also here, it comes to that time here, which I guess another pretty much a football holiday here. Madden NFL 25 is out.
Oh yeah.
So I just got mine. Hadn't got a chance to play it yet, and also along with NCAA as well too. I guess which one's the better video game here for you?
Me, I can't really comment because I haven't really been a Madden guy since 2009, 10 maybe. So I'm not really got a comment, but I've always been a fan of NCAA games. I'm more of a 2K guy.
Mm-hmm.
Me personally, I'm really excited for October 1st when NBA 2K comes out.
Yeah, I can't wait for that either because I just got my basically got my reservation for that too.
Yeah. What new feature are you ready to try on this Madden? What new thing?
I am happy for the resurgence of franchise mode. And last season, it felt like it was kind of unplayable because the connected careers were like confusing to a lot of people, including myself. And it just did not really it didn't feel like you were in the game. It felt like you were like a coach of the game, but not kind of like an owner of the game, like many people have been used to. But now they gave this option back. I'm also hoping that maybe that there's still the important rosters as well from NCAA to Madden. I mean, that's pretty much one of the main reasons why I get them both every single year too. So, I mean, I hope those things are going to be out there. Has there been a new thing that you've been looking at?
I tell you, I think I'm one of the few guys that doesn't play Madden. I've been out of the franchise for so long.
Mm-hmm.
I feel lost, but I will watch people play it. I watch people play the hell out of it.
Oh yeah. And I guess another thing here that's also going on in the NBA world too, Tracy McGrady's retired.
Yeah, it's been looking that way for a while, but he's official. It's made it official, and he got me. That was a solid career. Is he going to the Hall of Fame? I don't think so, but he'll always be remembered. He was a guy like Jerry Stackhouse, Glenn Rice, Larry Johnson, guys who had solid seasons, made an impact. Did they get rings? Did they, become the face of the league? No, but they definitely left an impact, and that's what these guys did, and that's what T-Mac did.
Right, and he's going to be he's not going to be if he does get into the Hall of Fame, he's not going to be a first ballot guy.
Not at all.
He's not really going to be a first ballot guy. His stats, a lot of people say with his stats, a lot of people say with his stats that nobody has not made the Hall of Fame with those stats that he's had. But I would say Allen Iverson gets in way before him.
Yeah, Iverson has an MVP, leading that team to the finals, scoring titles. Iverson has the what would you say, the hardware, I guess, the clout. T-Mac, who had some very good seasons.
Right.
I mean, he just doesn't really have the other intangibles. I mean, the other tangibles that Iverson has. And, it's unfortunate, but, hey, that's how it goes sometimes. But he'll always be remembered. I don't think anybody's going to forget T-Mac.
Right. I mean, you could just think of some of the great moments here with T-Mac. 13 points, 35 seconds.
Yeah, that's definitely number one for me.
That really has to be.
The dunk on Sean Bradley.
That is the number one nightmare for me.
There was also I think his first All-Star game or second All-Star game, he had a dunk where he did an alley-oop to himself off the glass.
Mm-hmm.
But definitely a guy that had some highlights. Just could never get out the first damn round.
Yeah,
Never.
Unfortunately, and I think that's going to be the main thing that plagues him, and that just remembers of everybody. I remember the Spurs run where you were pretty much PO'd about the whole thing, pissed about the whole thing, about everybody wanted to go back with the nostalgia and everything like that too, but unfortunately, as the focal point of the team, he will never be. He will just be remembered as such. And I could still remember 2003 when he thought that this was a best of 5, I guess, saying that it feels so great to get out the first round, and unfortunately the Detroit Pistons won 3 straight games.
That didn't happen.
And sadly with the Rockets as well, that year they made it out of the first round with him on the bench.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that's really what's gonna go against him is when he left a team or when he got hurt, that team kind of got better, like the Ewing theory.
Now, somebody had also asked me yesterday, and I would like to ask you the same thing. He asked me here basically. Let's see. Agree or disagree? Had T-Mac stayed in Toronto with Vince Carter in their prime, would they have won a ring?
No. And I don't think it would have happened because T-Mac flourished as a scorer and a superstar when he left Toronto.
Mm-hmm.
I think in Toronto, he was more of a role player / defender.
Right.
And it didn't work out the way we thought it would, but the way anyone expected it would. It just didn't. So I think the hindsight's 20/20, but I don't think it would have gone that way necessarily.
I don't think so either. Now, if he would have stayed in Orlando with the White.
Now, definitely I think a title would have came eventually. He was at his apex from, let's say, second season in Orlando to maybe his second or third season with Houston. He was in his prime.
Mm-hmm.
I think he definitely would have, with Dwight Howard, something special would have happened. But it's unfortunate though that his career was plagued by injuries and just being unsuccessful in the post round.
Right. And it is, but like we said, it's how it be sometimes too.
Yeah, but I mean, the guy had a great career, and he's going to be remembered.
And and that's pretty much nothing to be sad about. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. Let's see here. And have you seen Larry Sanders' tattoo?
No, I haven't.
Misspelled tattoo.
Oh, wow.
Receive. The guy just failed to remember I before E after except after C.
Yeah.
So, and it looks like the NBA rookies also they picked Kobe Bryant as their favorite player over LeBron James.
Yeah, Kobe has a strong following. It's crazy. It is immense. The people that follow Kobe, it's strong. That love and loyalty towards him it's when he retires, there's going to be a lot of sad people.
Oh yeah, I've really grown to appreciate him a whole lot more than I probably did 10 years ago.
Right.
And especially ever since he has Twitter, because the guy is a witty, it's just a witty guy. It's just it's just like, stop making me try to like you, Kobe, man. But I mean, but he is, but he's one of those guys that when he retires, there's pretty much going to be a Kobe Bryant appreciation day. I feel like.
Yeah. A lot of people that didn't like him are gonna love him and gonna remember the impact he had.
Right, and especially I want to say his birthday was not too long ago, and
Right, a couple of days ago.
right, and the NBA was still showing, like, they were showing some of his best games, including the 81-point barrage that he had against the Toronto Raptors. So, I mean, if they're still showing it now, they're pretty much going to continue to show it in the future as well. And I'm pretty sure they're going to pop in the highlights of Kobe Bryant's career, maybe the Olympic Games as well, the times that he won his championships, everything that you can imagine about Kobe Bryant, documentaries and all that stuff. Then that's pretty much going to be it. I think with that, that's pretty much going to be the ending point of this show. Anything else you have in mind?
Just once again, thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for joining our fantasy league as well. It's greatly appreciated, and we hope that you continue to participate, and we hope that you enjoy the season, and keep listening.
Oh yeah, and I forgot to even mention that too. That's 14 teams in there now. We're still looking for 2 more.
Me and I have a friend of mine.
Okay. So we're still looking for that. Trying to make that at least a 16-team league. For all of those that's listening that is in the league too, got the PayPal all set up. So I think I got the description pretty much on there. $20 league. We're also going to try to make it as the first place winner gets $160, second place $100, third place I think is $60. So it's going to be very fun. It's going to be very competitive, and I feel like this is going to be. It's actually going to be a good twist to the whole thing. Never done a paid league before. So. Gonna be interested to see what's going to happen. A lot of bragging rights going to go onto the line here. So yeah, and that's pretty much going to be it. And I guess in the next show, like we said, we're going to talk about the AFC West and the NFC East. That's going to be a very fun show too. I mean, we probably will have our teams at number 1. I don't know. I'm just saying. But, yeah, that's pretty much going to be it here. That's pretty much going to do it for this show here. So, I'm Mark Gafford.
I'm Robert Brown.
And once again, just telling everybody, thank you for listening to us. And we will be right back. And when's our next show?
Oh, man. We're shooting for hopefully Friday. But if not Friday, then Monday.
You gotta at least get one good one. Maybe we might just do one during the draft.
Yeah.
So we might try to do that then, because I know we gotta try to at least get one good one before the season begins. So, well, for both of us, good night.